Hey, what's up? What's good? It's Sino, and I'm back with another TV talk, baby. Today we're gonna talk about a weird movie I watched. So in light of I had just watched Addams, the Wednesday TV show on Netflix, and I feel like this is why the divine showed me this weird movie, and it had Jenna Ortega is one of the leading stars in this movie, and also that weird kid off of is it Regrets? I'm gonna just post a picture of him. I'm gonna find it. But yeah, that guy. And it also had Paul Rudd in it, AntMan. I want to say the lady also played on that weird little TV movie too. It's like they went to Mexico to go pick up, the pounds, and then they brought it back, but they were playing a weird American family doing it or whatever. So, boom. Anyway, so yeah, Jenna Ortega is the main star, and this movie is called Death of a Unicorn. And I was like, what do you mean? The little title page and everything is so strange. So, boom. The movie opens up. It's Jenna Ortega. She's in her 16 and I don't care phase. A little bit of dyed hair, feathering out the side. Giving very much so please don't talk to me. They managed to age her 2 years from her normal 14-year-old look. And yeah, and Paul Rudd is her dad. And he looks kind of chunky. He definitely gained some weight after AntMan. No offense. So look, he just had actual dad vibe, And I guess recently her mother had passed away, his wife. And so they were looking for a fresh start, new beginnings. And for him, that new beginning was becoming the power of attorney for a very powerful family, and which would put him in position to be a member of their board and gain money through all of their investments as time went by. What a weird job. What a weird job. So in order to secure this deal, because this is the rich and powerful we're talking about, so some real weird, shady kind of agreements have to happen in the background. So in order to get this deal to go through, they got to go travel up into the remote mountains of God knows where and spend the weekend with the rich, weird family. And of course, so Jenna Ortega is playing a character named Ridley. Paul Rudd is playing a character named Elliot. And then the real rich family, the characters you need to know is Shep, the son, Belinda, the wife, Odell, the husband, and Griff, the butler. All right. And I mean, when I say butler, I mean does everything kind of butler. So boom, Ridley and Elliot, they're riding up to the middle of nowhere, and they get into basically the Odell Leonard Wildlife Reserve. So basically this man is so rich, he owns a portion of land that acts as a wildlife reserve, but he lives on it, but it's still a charity kind of thing. So they're riding and they're talking in the car, about life, and he's trying to get her to kind of bubble up a little bit more in a positive way, just because it's tough. Her mother just passed away. She's having to move out of her environment because her dad feels like he has to take this really weird job with these really weird people in order to get into whatever steps in life he wants to be at. And he's telling her oh, I only have to sit on the board 5, maybe 10 years tops. And mind you, this is a teenager, she's probably leaving to college any day now, and you're talking about 10 years and we'll be great. By that point, hopefully she will have her own things going on for her, so they're riding, yeah, and then they're as they're talking, he's not looking at the road. Sorry, I'm staring off into the distance, trying to remember stuff. And as they're talking, he's like not looking at the road. And they're kind of getting into like a little bit, not really an argument, but they're having an elevated conversation about like this and like how she doesn't want to go. She doesn't care like if he makes more money or not. Like it's not that's not like what is driving her at the moment. And he's like, well, it was done is done. We got to go up here and I just need you to be as kind as you can be, you know, whatever. Boom, they're riding. They hit something. You know, and mind you, this is a wildlife reservation. So anything you hit is probably a protected animal that, you know, you would have to pay a serious fine for hitting. So they're nervous, you know, and I mean, it put a big dent in their car. Like the bumper, the whole top part, and they're driving a pretty solid SUV, the whole top part folded in. So they're like, are we gonna see? And I don't ever understand. I mean, no, you know what? I'd get out the road. If there was no one around, like it's a private road, I'd probably get out to look too, especially if I thought it was an animal, right? Which they did assume it was an animal. They get out, they're walking around the car. He tells her, stay here. Of course, she doesn't listen, so she's following like 3 steps behind him the whole time. And he's looking, and he's like, is it a horse? Is it a deer? It's a unicorn. Like, what? Like, what? He walks up, he's like, what the like, what is this? What is this? It is literally like, and it's not a unicorn in the sense of like, this is a horse with like a horn stuck on it. And I really found like this to be a very creative aspect of the movie, because like they didn't just create like the most basic version of a unicorn. They created what was low-key a little bit of a monstrosity. It had like sharp fangs, kind of a shorted snout, but it was all fur, like around even the mouth area, like all fur, and it was like shorted, and it was like kind of a grayish white color, and the horn had like crevices in it, like you were walking up like a really steep mountain, or like a bamboo tree that came to like a super sharp point. And it was, this one, it was a pretty decent size. Like, I mean, it really messed their car up. Like the car still ran, but it left a big dent in the car. And like, it's still alive, you know? It's still very much so alive. And it's all like, and the first thing he's like saying, I'm gonna go to jail, I'm gonna go to prison for the rest of my life, because like, not only did you hit like this creature is not even endangered. It's mythical. It's not even supposed to exist. Could you imagine hitting something that's not even supposed to exist? And now you're looking at it and you're like, oh, like this is going to be bad. Like this is going to be real bad if anyone finds out about this. This is what's going through their heads. Me personally, I don't know if I would have called animal control. I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have dragged it off to the side of the road and like let it do what it do, to be honest. Like let nature handle that. But yeah, they're like freaking out and stuff. And so she's like leaning down. She's leaning down, Ridley. She's starting to lean down, and she's like touching, like she's like feeling on the unicorn, and it like all like starts to calm down a little bit. She's like feeling on it. She's like, oh, he's like badly hurt. And then its horn starts to glow. It starts to glow like real orangey. And it's like pulling her into a trance. And so she reaches out and she grasps it. And like when she grasps it, it basically starts showing her like the secrets of the universe. Like it starts pulling her through the galaxies. I shouldn't say it's showing her secrets of the universe, but it's like, that's kind of how she said it. It felt like she was seeing and feeling everything she needed to see. But what they were showing us on screen was it pulling her through like all the stars, all the galaxy, basically showing like the connectivity of everything. And like it got to the part where like at like a door, like a mystical portal at the end of the vision, and her dad starts beating it in the head with a tire iron. And I'm like, what? Why would you do that? Like, and he's like, boom, 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 basically killing it. Like, essentially, like he wanted to kill it. He thought it was hurting her. He's like, are you okay? But like, I mean, like excessively just, This was a little bit, I think, of like a dark comedy movie though. So he's like, bah, 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 and he kills it. And for some reason, instead of just leaving it there, they stick it in the back of their car. Don't understand. They stick it in the back of their car and they finish driving up the mountain to the billionaire's mansion at the top of the mountain. And so there's a dead unicorn in the back of the car. They got low-key blood splotches all over their face and stuff, and they're about to go in, and they just get out the car and he's like telling her, shake it off, shake it off. Like, after witnessing your father like beat an animal to death. This is not real, by the way. This is TV, YouTube. This is TV. Beat an animal to death, or a creature, and now all of a sudden, like, he's telling you, oh, you need to shake it off because we have to put on our best faces for this weekend and stuff. And then, like, they get inside the house, and like the girl's immediately like, I don't feel too well. Like, I think maybe we shouldn't stay the whole time. Maybe we should just head out. And Dad's like, what? No, like, it's fine. And then the wife, Belinda, she's all like, what do you mean? Like, you at least have to stay for dinner. Griff makes an excellent, whatever Griff was gonna make. Griff makes an excellent dinner, you know. And they're like, this is like their first introduction. Like, they barely like have introduced each other. And like, she's already like, I'm trying to get out of here, you know. And like, she's like, why don't you go to the bathroom, like to your room, and get cleaned up a little bit, and then like try to see if you feel better and stuff like that, right? So she goes into the bathroom. She knows she still has like a little bit of the unicorn blood on her face, and she starts rubbing it off, and her acne starts to disappear. And she's like, what? Like, whoa. Wait, okay, whoa. And mind you, like, Odell, the billionaire guy, he's dying of cancer at this point. And, you know, I feel like wealthy people get so weird about terminal illness. Like, I feel like everyone, like, obviously, like, dying doesn't seem great. I mean, it's a part of life, but it's not like it's not the part of life that a lot of people look forward to, right? And so, and then, like, especially if you're wealthy, like, you're obviously trying to live forever. And I guess he had exhaust all of his options of living forever. So he's in his like monk era, you know, where they get like the linen cloth tapestry with the little prayer necklace, you know. He's in that era of dying. He's like, I've just accepted it all, and plant me into a tree when I go, kind of vibe. So like, yeah, he's down pretty bad. And so they're like all sitting there, like, so she's still in the bathroom. The dad is sitting with the family now, going over the paperwork in order to like assume his position and his role in their family and stuff, and for their like board members. And he's like, it all looks like it's in order. He's like, I'm gonna take an extra good look at it, but everything's looking good. But mind you, like, this whole time he was wearing glasses, and when he was beating the unicorn down, some blood got into his eyes, or it got like into his like sinus area. And so he was wearing glasses, and then all of a sudden, with the glasses on, the words started getting blurry. So he took his glasses off. He's like, and then all of a sudden the words are clear. And he's like, ooh, I love when I have a prop. I actually need these though. And the word starts getting blurry with the glass. He like pulled a Clark Kent basically. Like, whoo. So now his vision is perfect. And they're like all chopping it up, and they're like, he's like, oh yeah, you know, like sometimes this happens. You gotta get a better look at it. He's like playing with them and stuff. And so the daughter comes back down. She's like, she's like, my acne is gone. Like, I think we need to go right now. And the mom's all like, sweetheart, you've never had acne. Because mind you, they really didn't get a good look at her when she first came in, because she was so like, she's strung up. She's like, we gotta get the move on. And so she didn't get a good look at her when she first came in. She's like, sweetheart, what do you mean? You have no acne. Your face is perfect. She's like, that's the problem. My face is perfect, you know? And then the dad is all like, oh yeah, like, this happens sometimes. Like, she's they hear a noise outside. The car is shaking. Their car is still outside. No one touched it, surprisingly, because I'm surprised they didn't tell them to park it somewhere. Like, it's just sitting in the middle of like the drive up area, and the car is like shaking. Vroom, 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 vroom. Like, it's like, looks like it's about to come off the ground. And the bodyguard lady, she's all like, is there something like wrong with your car? Like, is it okay? And they're like, ha, ha, ha. It does this sometimes. Like, yeah, like the car violently shakes by itself without being cut on. That's crazy. They're like, ha, 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 yeah, it does this sometimes. It's fine. And then the unicorn head busts out the window. Like, and it's just like, ah! Like, it sounds like a baby goat. Like, realistically, like, it sounds like a baby goat. And like his head busts out the side window. Bam! And everyone was like, whoa, what the heck? And they're like, oh, I see why you didn't want to say anything. Like, this is a lot. And then the bodyguard lady goes up and she shoots it in the head. Boom. Killed it again. Mind you, it was already dead, right? So then, obviously, they have no choice but to start spilling the beans. And the son is all like, oh, you didn't even have the common decency to kill it all the way before you brought it up here? Like, these people are messed up in the head. So boom, they start spilling all the beans. They're like, look, we don't know, like, we just didn't want to get in trouble, like, we didn't know what to do. And the daughters are like, I don't care about that now, we need to report this to the authorities. And of course the billionaires are like, whoa, the authorities? We don't want people snooping around up here, you know, as rich people do sometimes, I guess. They're like, oh no, we don't want you we don't want people snooping around, right? You don't want your dad to go to jail, right? Trying to gaslight the 17-year-old. She's like, I don't care about that. Which I'm sure in retrospect she would definitely have cared if like her dad went to prison for like a unicorn body, you know? But like, yeah, like they were trying to like gaslight her, when eventually they end up making the executive decision anyway to keep the unicorn. Because then they start telling, they're like, yeah, like the blood got on me, and like now my acne's gone. And he was like, yeah, I think some got in my eye, and like now I can see, like I don't need my glasses anymore. And they're like, very interesting. So in the blink of an eye, boom, after then I made the decision not to call anyone and to like handle this inside the home, they got a little baby lab set up in one of the rooms, and they got their two like genetic scientists working on the unicorn. They come and take blood samples from them, and they basically be like, it seems like the unicorn blood has the power to heal anything. So obvious next steps for the rich billionaire is like, put it in me right now. He's all like, I have tried every option, so if this kills me, like it's fine, like I'm already dying. So they hook him up to an IV, lay him down, and they insert the unicorn blood into his like little IV bag, so it drips, his little drip IV. And okay, like they got this little unicorn just chained up in the back doing a stunt fizzle. So the daughter of Ridley, she goes off and she starts investigating, because she's like, this is just too weird. It's too weird. She starts investigating about like unicorns and stuff. She's doing that in the background. They're like all talking and like, oh, okay, like this is so crazy, like we're gonna be richer, you know, and like all types of stuff. And then all of a sudden, the dad, he walks out, Odell the billionaire, he walks out on with his little cane. He's walking out all feeble, like, and they're like, oh no, it didn't work. And then he's all like, huh, gotcha, it definitely worked. Also, this dude, like you're gonna see, this dude played in White Chicks. He plays the mob, not the mob boss, but he plays like the dude that's like, you ordered ice cream, didn't you? Vanilla, that guy. I forget his name. I just literally just saw his name, but I was just playing. And so like he comes out intensely. He's like, yeah. He's like, this stuff is gonna make us so rich. Like look at me. Look at all I can do now. Like, and he's like dancing around. Yeah. He's like, he's getting it. You know, he's feeling like extra excited. Like, you know, because they healed him. Like, he has no more cancer. They're running tests. They're like, yeah, it looks like you're in remission. Like, we don't know how, but it looks like you're in remission. So he's telling his scientists, You need to reproduce and recreate this stuff right now. Stat. We need all the unicorn blood we can get. And they're like, well, we got to take it down to like the big lab and then see what's up. But then eventually the genetic scientist is like, there's no way we can recreate this. He tells him, basically, he tells the billionaire, there is no way like we can, there's no way that they can remake the DNA sequence, because it's not of this world. Like, it's like otherworldly DNA sequence, and it's not something that humans have the capacity to replicate. They're just like telling them all this, and mind you, the whole time, Ridley, she's going in a spiral. She's looking at all these medieval tapestries about unicorns, and she finds one, and she basically, the story goes that like unicorns are not nice little magical creatures that grant wishes. They are masters of destruction. And when they get on a tangent, they go through and they take everybody down. They're just slaughtering. Like, the tapestry is basically showing the story of them slaughtering a whole village. And like, the only thing that can calm them, which is so cliche, is a pure maiden. A pure maiden is the only thing that can calm the unicorns down and that they'll surrender to, and like stuff like that. So she like finds all this stuff out, and she's like telling the son this, and he like tries to capitalize on the opportunity. He's like, oh, I need to tell my dad so that way, like, you know, he'll respect me and know that I have ideas too. Like, a whole side plot of like daddy issues going on in this movie. But yeah, so they're like, you're telling me you can't replicate this? Well, we are going to call every rich friend we have and do a flash sale of all we got. And so they just start, they hit the black book. They start calling all their buddies. They're like, I heard you had a dying grandmother. How would you like to save her today for the low price of $10 million? Save your grandmother right now. Me flavored water, 15 cents. Well, that's basically how the calls go. They're calling everybody, and they're like gonna hold like a big gala and like just basically auction off unicorn blood, right? Or like auction off like this prize investment, basically. So, boom. They're all excited. They're like drinking unicorn blood cocktails now. And then they told the one scientist girl, they're like, shave off a little bit of the unicorn dust off the horn and stuff, because like they were trying to like replicate that. They were going to use that maybe as like the mixture to like sell to all the people. They're like, well, forget the unicorn, like give us the horn, because they said that the horn was like the most potent part of the unicorn's body and stuff. So like they're like, let's just take the horn and we'll just saw the horn dust down, and then we'll just sell that to people. Like, we're basically going to sell, like, yeah, basically unicorn coke. They were basically going to sell unicorn coke to people. They were just going to shave the horn down. And yeah, so like that's like the genius idea. So boom, they shave the horn off. They cut the horn off. They take it and they put it in this like canister. And then they're all standing in the like little isolation tent where come to find out, the unicorn that they hit on the road was a baby. It was a baby unicorn. So they're like standing, they're kikiing. The scientists are like freaking out. The one scientist is like, I don't know, man. Like, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe we should just like leave it be, you know, that kind of vibe. Stuff like that. And then like they also noticed too that like the unicorn was regenerating. So they knew that baby unicorn was still alive. They were just like more concerned with the horn, because they were like, this is the most potent part, and like honestly without its horn it wasn't doing that well. Like once they took the horn off, it was like it might have actually been dying for real. So boom, they're talking in the tent, the scientist, and then the dad, the Ridley's dad, Elliot, the lawyer, they're all talking. And while they're talking, all of a sudden all you see is a shoot. A giant horn comes straight through the body of the scientist guy. Pulls out. He's dead. Everyone starts freaking out then. They're like running around. They're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? They look outside. The unicorn mom is like in the doorway. They are going, she is going in. She's like ramming her horn into the cars. Like she's tearing stuff up. She's upset. They done moved the baby more into the house, and they're like holding the baby hostage, and they're all talking. They're like, we need to get the unicorn up. We need to get the unicorn up, and like this cannot be happening. Like we gotta. And then the billionaires are like, we don't stand down to no animals. Like we're gonna get her too. We're gonna get all the unicorn we can eat today. And like so. He sends all his bodyguards out. They're like, hit the field, in the field, now. Boom. Unicorn is tearing them up, left and right. She is getting busy. She's stabbing. And the Ridley, the girl, she's all like, I told you, like, these are not to be played with. Like, they're gonna avenge their child. Like, they do not care. They are gonna keep going until they can't go no more. And like she's yelling about this the whole time, and the forest just choom, getting all the bodyguards out of here till there's like one left, and they retreat, and they managed to shoot the unicorn, and I guess it ran off into the distance, so like that'll buy us some time. So they're trying to escape now. And now the unicorn cut the power, so now there's two unicorns. There's the dad and the mom. The dad's even bigger than the mom, and so they didn't cut the power to the house, and they're like, oh no, like how are we gonna get out of here, because their front gate is like electric and stuff, and they're like, we're not gonna be able to open the gate if the power's not on. So they're all like, oh, okay, like we gotta figure out how to get up out of here, whatever. And they're like, we gotta figure to get up out of here. And like, so Griff, which is the butler, you know, who've been kind of playing a background character this whole time. You know, it's been like a day, and honestly, it's only been like a day since all of this went down. Like they got there the night before. She went into her spiral about unicorns that night, got up the next day, and now they're already like getting taken up out of here. And so Griff's all like, I mean, if we want to like move the gate, we gotta go to like this little thing, blah. He's like, yeah, but like someone's gonna have to go out there to do it. Mind you, like the house is being guarded. And they're like, well, since you sound like the gate expert, you should be the one to open it. And he's like, what? He's like, I have kids. And they're like, you have kids? One time they didn't even know their butler had kids, bro. This man had a whole life. I don't know how he had the time, because he seems like he was there 24/7. He could have been lying. But yeah, like, so he drew the short stick. He should have never told them anything. And the scientist girl is all laughing, and they're like, oh, well, you're next, because we need someone to take the baby out, the hornless baby out, to go distract the unicorns while Griff runs down the hill and tries to get the gate running and stuff, right? Boom. So they do that. She goes out, so they do that. So Griff is like starting to walk out. The girl walks out the back. She brings the baby to the adult unicorns. Griff's running down the hill to go get the gate working. And when she goes out with the baby unicorn, the two adults, they pop up. And at this point too, is to note that their fur is actually a really dark gray right now. Like you could tell they're angry. Like it's like it changes with their mood. So like right now, since they're in vengeance mode, their fur is a really dark gray, right? And so she's all like, ha ha ha, this makes us cool, right? The little scientist girl, she's like, we're cool, right? Like, you know, here's your baby back, baby dying, don't have no horn. And they're like, you know, so they're like sniffing the baby. She's like starting to back away. Then all of a sudden they just bite her, and they pull her apart, like ripping her whole body apart. Crazy scene. Like they're like pulling her apart, dragging her around. She's like, ah. And Griff sees that, and he's all like, oh no. Like, and so the Ridley's like, we gotta escape now. We gotta get.
For reference, I want to say that Griff Griff, he went ahead and just left through the gate once he was able to get it open, and then Ridley went outside to try and escape, maybe.
Out of here.
But
she goes outside. Yeah. Her dad follows her, obviously, and she goes outside and she's all like running in the woods and stuff, and like she runs into one of the unicorns in it, but it like slows down and it like almost reaches out to like let her touch the horn of the unicorn, you know. And that's when she's starting to realize, oh, I'm the pure maiden, of course. She's starting to realize I'm the pure maiden. They'll respect me, but low-key she don't want to like slow up whatever they got going on, because she told these people, if you mess with this, like they're gonna come and eat you and stuff. And like, but the only problem is she already told the son Shep about her theory, or she showed him the tapestries, you know. So like, and the whole time he's snorting unicorn horn, so he has like some type of connectivity. And they also find out that she touched the horn of the unicorn. The dad did, and he's like, so you mean to tell me basically all I gotta do is touch the horn of the unicorn, and I can find out all of its secrets, you know. I'll know all of its secrets and stuff. And she's like, I mean, kind of, but I wouldn't do it if I was you. Like, you're not goated. Like, you do not have a pass. Like, she got a pass. And so they're like, he's like, okay, well, he's like, I'm gonna do it. Like, everything respects me. You know, he's on an ego trip because he's a billionaire. No one's ever said no to him before. Whatever. At this point, also, Griff has escaped. He saw that girl get ripped up and he ran. I think he did get the gate semi-open, but the way the unicorns were blocking the door again, like, no one was getting out. So he took his chances and he hit the road, you know. Boom. He hit the road. And so now it's just like Elliot and Ridley and the billionaire family, like, sitting there, whatever. So the dad, he goes out and he's like, you know, he goes up to like the dad unicorn. He's all like, it's okay, like, you can trust me. Like, he's like trying to smooth talk this unicorn, and like he really thought it was gonna work. That's the part that gets me. He really thought it was gonna work. And the unicorn's all like, oh yeah, and like he's all like, it starts to bend down like it's gonna submit to him, and his horn starts to glow. And as the dad goes out to reach it, he goes right through the chin. Horn all the way up, right through the chin. Out of here. I guess it really didn't matter that you were in remission. You still weren't gonna live that long because you play stupid games. You win stupid prizes. That's all I'm saying. So boom. Dad, he's up out of here. The billionaire guy, he's up out of here. And so they're all like, you know, the mom and the son are all in the house, like, what are we gonna do? Like, the mom is like helpless. She's like, what are we gonna do? Son's snorting the fucking unicorn horn, and he's all like, I know exactly what we're gonna do. I have a plan. And she's like, what? No, you've been thinking. He's like, it's okay. I got the unicorn dust running through me. And so he's all like, he grabs a crossbow, and he goes outside and he shoots the mom unicorn. Boom. Takes her down. And when he does that, Ridley comes out. She's like, no, like, stop. He's like trying to tie her up and stuff, like tie up the unicorn. And he's like, stop, like, you can't do this, like, this is not right, whatever. He's like, well, you know how to make it less painful, don't you, Ridley? And she's like, what? And like, he's like, I know that you can, like, he doesn't say it, like, he doesn't say the words, like, I know you can tame the unicorn, but like, he read the thing. He's like, I saw those tapestries, you know, you have the power to make this easy on them. And so like, she like is petting the mother unicorn, and she like starts to calm down and stuff. And then the dad unicorn comes over, and he's like on a vengeance, but then he sees Ridley and he like kind of freezes, and then he slowly sinks into like a submission position, and the son starts tying them all up while he's holding Ridley at bow point or whatever. And boom, of course the dad is all, her dad, Ridley's dad, Elliot, is all like, I need to save my baby. And I want to say the mom had already died at this point, or maybe she dies afterwards. I'm not gonna lie, her death was like quick, you know. So he sees Shep holding Ridley at arrow point and stuff, and so he comes up behind Shep and he stabs him with the unicorn horn, the like little baby's unicorn horn that they had cut off and stuff. And then Shep stabs him with an arrow. So he's about to be up out of the game too. And so Ridley, she starts untying the unicorns, and and the unicorns start like pulling their baby's body and the horn together. And then like she's like crying, like while they're doing that, she's like crying over her dad. She's like, oh my God, like he's dying. Like he's like saying, like, I mean, like he said his last words kind of dead. Like he was gone. He was a goner. He was a goner. The unicorns see her crying over this man, and I guess they decide like, oh, that's your homie, that's our homie kind of vibe. And then they pull him into the giant onto the baby unicorn. They pull the dad onto the baby unicorn and plop him down too. And they start doing some weird stuff with their horns. They're like rubbing their horns together. This giant ball of energy starts floating around their horns, and they're like mind melding and shit. And next thing you know, like the horn of the baby unicorn starts clicking back on. The dad's eyes come open. All three of them are now the baby unicorns mind melding with the parents. They're turning back to more of a whitish color. The dad's like got his hand all up in the ball. He sees his dead wife, and he sees whatever the universe he needs to see. And then they dip. The unicorns dip into the forest. Goodbye. After massacring everybody. And so the Elliot and Ridley, they're just sitting there. They're like, oh my gosh, I thought you were a goner, blah, blah, blah. They're sitting there, they're hugging, they're crying. Here comes Griff with the cops. And he's like taking the cops to the scene because so many people done died at this point. And all they see is two people sitting there laughing with dead bodies strewn around them. So they put them in the back of the cop car. And then the cop lady, they're on the way down to the police station. The cop lady's calling her boss. She's all like, I don't know, sir, like their story is pretty unbelievable, and you know, but like I feel like they didn't do it, but like I don't know, they're telling me like unicorns did it. Like I can't believe that. Like, can I? And the boss is all like, bring them in, like they're definitely up to something. Bring them to the station. And so she's like, click. So she's driving. Next thing you know, you see the unicorn family running out in the road. They get up to the cop car. Tell me why they slam into the cop car. I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand. They like slam into the cop car and they cause it to like basically kill the cop so that the dad and daughter can go free. But it just doesn't make sense because like all they had to do was kind of pop up, and then the cop would have had like video of it on the cop car. But I guess they're animals. They don't know how they work. They're just like, oh, we're just returning the favor because you saved our kid. But like, yeah, like they just body slam the cop car and then they get away. Like they live to fight another day. Then they finally leave and they're free, and that's how the movie ends. So personally, I'd give Death of a Unicorn an 8.7 out of 10. I will say it's kind of a lo-fi film, you know, overall, but it's like super interesting. It kept me enthralled. Jenna Ortega, you know, strikes again. She's definitely in her bag. She's in her era. Paul Rudd, an unlikely addition to that team, you know, and it was just such a strange, quirky movie. But I will say it was kind of on the lo-fi end. I can't give it a 10 because I don't do that when it comes to TV shows. I watch so much TV. Like if I get like, you know, I gotta have my wits about. And the writing could have been better. You know, like I feel like I don't know. Like it was. You know what? I give it a 9. I won't be an asshole. I give it a 9. I would say it's definitely a good watch. I have already recommended it to someone, so I'd give it a 9. And I suggest, like, if you like Jenna Ortega, you like a little bit of sci-fi, fantasy kind of vibe, check out Death of a Unicorn. I think that's gonna be a good hit. Anyway, oh, and then to cleanse my mind of all this craziness I've been watching, I want to do an honorable mention of a TV show. I'm not going to talk about it on here because it's like an adult cartoon, so it doesn't really have a plot. Honorable mention is going to be Bless Your Hearts. It is a cute little adult cartoon on Disney Plus. It's not overly adult themed, but I will say you still should be 18 watching it, but it's not going to blow your mind. Like, it's not like how some of these cartoons get, right? And I love the animation style. It's giving Recess. Yeah, I don't know if anyone used to watch the cartoon Recess back in the day, like that kind of vibe, like early 2000s Cartoon Network. And it's just a nice, funny little brain-rotty TV show. So if you ever get a chance, go click on that. That's an honorable mention TV show. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the review today. And I hope you go check out Death of a Unicorn. All right. Peace.